In Ventersdorp now. Nomowethu, a very good morning to you. It's quite an interesting location this morning for the Youth Day commemorations. Talk to us a little bit more about it.
Well, a very good morning to you, Leanne. Indeed, we are coming to you live from the Tsing Stadium here in Ventersdorp in Bokone Bophirima, otherwise known as the Northwest. And this is where we'll be celebrating and commemorating what happened on the 16th of June 1976. As we remember those heroes and heroines that took a stand and said, we will not be taught in Afrikaans. You rightfully said that the theme for this year is about remembering Altambo, but also talking about the advancement of youth economic empowerment. Now, that's very important in this town. It's a very densely populated town. We know that there's a lot of mining going on here, but the youth still faces a lot of unemployment. There's a lot of poverty around in this town of Ventersdorp. But to tell us more about today's program and what we're likely to see, we're going to be talking to the chairperson of the NYDA, Mr. Sifiso Mtsweni. Thank you so much for joining us. So, you know, when we talk about June 16, we always link it to the NYDA. Now, as a chairperson, it's just a month into your role. What has it been like?
Well, of course, we were very humbled to be given this responsibility. It's been a challenge. Ever since we have been appointed, we've been everywhere, we've been up and down. Young people have been saying that they've been waiting for the leadership at the level of the NYDA. So we've been everywhere. We've responded to the call, particularly of young people, to say that they need an agency that's on the ground, that's with them as young people, not leaders that are going to sit in air-conditioned boardrooms. So we've been on the ground. Today we're here, we're excited. We're looking forward to hearing from the President of the Republic in terms of the plans that government has in addressing, most importantly, issues around unemployment, issues around poverty. As you know, when you speak about poverty, you speak about what affects young people the most. So we here, we want to remember our heroes of 1976. Today we mark 41 years since that particular day, where young people really took their fate into their own hands. And they said that the destiny belongs to them, the future belongs to them. So today is this generation of 2017, we're saying the future of this country belongs to us. We're going to take over now. We're going to take the bull by its horns and take the country forward.
Now, Mr. Mtsweni, also, you know, a very interesting location, Ventersdorp, you know. What's the role of the NYDA today and specifically looking at Ventersdorp? Well,
you'd remember that normally this day is celebrated in Soweto. So we decided, because you'd know that those uprisings actually inspired a revolution across the country. So when you talk about student uprisings, we no longer just talk about Soweto, but the country as a whole. But we decided as an agency that maybe we need to start taking these events to where young people are, rather than just having them in Soweto. So we here, the role of the NYDA will also address today, will also unveil our own strategic plan as the agency. Will speak about some of the programs that we have as the agency to try and alleviate some of the challenges that young people face.
Now, also, Mr. Mtsweni, you know, not only in Ventersdorp, but unemployment, like you rightfully said, is a national problem. How are we going to tackle this as the NYDA?
Well, firstly, we're going to play a very active advocacy role. Because according to the NYDA Act, part of the things that we need to do is to advise government. Now, one of the things that has been a worry for us in particular is that, you know, you've got a lot of unemployed graduates. Some of them, you find them in street corners holding placards saying, look, I've got a big home in accounting, I've got this and that, and I cannot get a job. Now, one of the problems about that is that we've got this, what we feel is a draconian entrance requirement, particularly that speaks about experience. Why is it that a young person must go and get a qualification before they can get a job? They are told that they must have experience. So we're calling for a scrapping of that. Number two, we're saying that, you know, almost 70% of people who are unemployed in this country are young people. Now, there can never be that when you look at the government bureaucracy, when you look at companies in this country, you continue to see an aging workforce. Why is it that young people are not there? So we're proposing, amongst other things, that 40% of the workforce, both in government and in the private sector, must be young people. We're even taking it a step further to say, where a department does not have 40%, or where a company does not have 40%, that company must be punished, their license must be withdrawn. So what we are trying to say here is that to address unemployment, we need radical solutions. But I think as a last point as well, we think that we want to encourage young people as well, not just to be job seekers, but to be job creators as well. So as an agency, we've got a program in place, particularly a youth entrepreneurship grant funding program, where we're saying to young people, those who've got brilliant business ideas, those who've got businesses that can employ other young people. So we're saying to them, we're encouraging you, become job creators rather than job seekers.
Thank you very much for your time. Well, that was the newly appointed chairperson of the NYDA telling us more about today's program and what it is that they're focusing on as the agency. But for now, it's back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks very, very much, Nomawethu. We'll be chatting to her and crossing over.